Okay, picking up where we left off, we're on page 21 and we just inserted a graphic into our Excel spreadsheet. Now something to note is that this Format Picture Tools toolbar was not there before. So this ribbon can morph and change depending on what you're doing. So we did insert picture and now we have a new item on the toolbar which wasn't there before, which is kind of cool. And you can go in here and make all sorts of changes to stuff, but we're not really going to do that right this very second. Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about is what's called the mini toolbar. If I was to click on one of these cells, okay, I'm just clicking on it with the mouse and do a right click. Now the right click is going to show up two things on me. One is what's called the mini toolbar, which is this guy here. So the mini toolbar is, yikes, is this guy. Okay, that's the mini toolbar, which means you can do an awful lot of things. It has the most commonly used thing from the big toolbar. They just replicated it down here so that you could go in and do bold or italics or center or change the fill, background fill color and text color, and whether or not you want grids and decimal points and things of that nature. So they took all the most common things that were in the big toolbar and just boop, dropped it down to here. Okay. The other thing that it does is it brings up this what's called the context menu, and so that's what this guy is. So this guy allows me to do all sorts of other things to that square. So both a little mini toolbar and a context menu. Okay, let's continue. One more time, they talk about the backstage view. Now our backstage view is going to be a little different, but this is what the backstage. I don't really know why it's called that, but hey, that's what they call it. And this is where, for example, that you would go and you would print the file or save the file or do some conversions. Okay, so saving a file is pretty doggone simple. You just hit the save button. So I went to get to that backstage. I actually hit the file guy. So home. And all these buttons here, okay, all these guys didn't change what we're seeing, right? I can flip through all these guys and the data down here doesn't change at all. But when I hit the color-coded one, boom, my worksheet is now completely hidden, and now I'm talking about saving and printing and things of that nature. So save is pretty simple. When you hit save, it'll come up, prompt you for what do you want to call this thing. I'm just going to call it, I don't know. Probably CF, that's just what I'm going to call it, like CF or common functions. That's the chapter, CF demo. And doink. Okay, now I've saved my document. Woohoo! You can also do save as. So I've already saved my document, but let's say I go in here and I tweak some things. Now I don't want to make I want to save the changes, but I don't want to completely obliterate the old version. I want to end up with two. Original version and the one with the changes. So if I was to just hit save, that would I'd end up with one copy. Let's just say, for example, that's not what I want. So save as allows me to just save it again. I'm gonna call this one like demo 2. So now I have two versions of the document: the original version and then the one with the changes. Cool. Okay. Printing. Printing is pretty straightforward. They have a very nice print preview thing. You hit this little button and it's basically going to show you what it's going to look like. Now, for example, I can tell that my graph is going to be cut off. So more than likely, this thing is now going to be 3 pages long. Okay, because apparently that graphic is pretty big. So if I wanted to print this, one of the things that I do when I'm printing is I tell it, you know, do I want to print everything? And I go, you know, maybe it's not exactly what I want. So I'm going to go in here and say, look, I just want the first page. How's that? So I'm going to go here and just say from page 1 to page 1. Okay? Meaning I only want this first page we're looking at. I don't care about the graphic thing. So I'm going to go ahead and hit my button and off it goes. Okay. So that's printing. I will tell you that there's a slight difference in the 2013 version. They have extra little menus and stuff, but who cares? Closing and exiting the document. If I was to make a change here, and hit close, it is very nice. It comes back and says, dude, you made a change here and you asked for me to close it. Is that really what you wanted? Do you want me to make these changes saved or not? So you have your choice between, yes, I want to save it, no, I don't, or I didn't actually, or the third one is, I didn't mean to hit the X at all. So I'm going to say no. So drops me out. Now where are my files? Well, I have them in my documents. I have a couple of directories underneath there. I have like a chapter CF directory, and that's where I stored my CF demo and the CF demo 2. And once again, an alternate way to start Microsoft Excel obviously is just to double click on the file and then presto changeo, it comes back up. Cool. I will tell you that I have kind of a pet peeve kind of a scenario, but I like to be able to see file name extension. Now this is just a thing because I'm a geek, okay? But right now I have that turned on, so I can actually, I don't have to look at the icon to see what it is. I can see that's an XLSX file. And again, that's kind of your choice. By the way, I'm going to turn the little the ribbon on. Well, okay, I guess not. There's a couple of different techniques you can use for showing how to tweak this folder. I'm not sure if I'm going to show you all that, but depending on what kind of computer you have, the easiest way is like to go to the control panel. There's one here called folder options, and so we go to folder options. In view, there's one of them down here that says hide extensions for known types, and I want to uncheck that. Okay, and how you get to the control panel is completely different in 8, 8.1, and 10, but hey, I'm on Windows 7, so however you get there, and that'll allow you to actually see those guys. Okay, so let's talk about the help. So now I'm on page 30. In the help thing, so let's say I'm right here and there is what's called context sensitive help. If you put it on a cell and hit the F1 key, it will actually launch a little help doodad. And if it's something it can figure out, it will try to help you in regard to that. So now once again, the help is going to be slightly different in this version rather than the version that's showing in the book. But it's close enough, okay? It's not exact, but it's pretty doggone close. And so here you can go in and talk about, you know, getting started, and it's basically just a whole bunch of stuff. If you're stuck with a formula, later on when we start doing formulas, when you hit help, it brings up this very gorgeous looking, you know, help box on how to fix your formula. So later on, we're actually going to use this help stuff, and it's very helpful help. Okay. We talked about the hover. When you hover over one of these guys, it talks to you. You hover, and it tells me that's text align, and that's this, and you know. So you know, you just hover over something to get the what they call screen tips. Page 32. Just hover over a button, and it'll tell you what's going on. Okay, on page 33, they talk about printing again. So they go to the backstage, and they hit print, and then you get some stuff. It's pretty straightforward, I think. The next topic they talk about is exporting to PDF. If you have the 2013, on the list in the backstage is a thing called export. And you hit export, and it says export to what? We don't have that. But that doesn't mean we can't do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a save as, and then I'm going to, instead of just giving it a file name, I'm going to do one more little trick. So I'm going to hit save as. And so I'm going to call this one number 3, but I'm not ready to hit the button yet. See where it says the save as type? This little guy right here? That guy. Okay? That is a pull down. And so if I click on the little down arrow, I can save this thing as umpteen gazillion things. One of the things that's pretty cool is previous versions of Office. So let's say you have the 2010 or the 2013 version, and yet your bud only has the 7 or 20. He's running Excel 2003. So you're probably going to have to down save, if that's a down version, save it as an older version. We're not doing that right now. So I'm going to go down here, and way down here at the bottom is PDF. So I hit PDF, I hit save, and presto changeo, I should have a PDF file now there. And there it is. I'm going to double click on it, and ta-da! So I have saved as a PDF, except I didn't, you know, again, the 2013 version has the export. We don't have the export, but I don't mean we can't do it. It just means we have to do it slightly differently. Okay. We're not going to be doing the touch and gestures portion of this chapter, so you can just kind of go right through there. But we are going to talk about the reading mode. Now, the reading mode is designed to kind of be less distracting. It's designed to not for media creation, right? So you've created a Word document, or you've created an Excel spreadsheet. But you're now no longer creating content. You just want to look at the content, okay? So all these buttons and stuff are kind of distracting. So way down here is a whole series of little guys. And it basically talks about the different views that are available. Okay, the first one says normal view. The next one is page layout, which makes it kind of look like a page, which is kind of weird. And on other versions of Office, there's an extra one here. It looks like a book that's open, and that's the reading view. I guess I'll have to use a Word version to make any sense of that. I still have my Mary Had a Little Lamb out there, don't I? Oh man, I closed it? Okay, well, what the heck. Just take me a second. So, here we go. So now I have this little open book guy. And so that means the reading mode. And reading mode is essentially just what I talked about. It gets rid of all the distractions. Now, obviously, this is not very useful for like changing text or changing things to bold or doing anything to the document whatsoever other than reading. So the reading mode is for reading. Gee, what a surprise. Okay. So in Microsoft Excel, that really doesn't make too much sense, you know, because Excel spreadsheets are kind of designed to be dynamic and fluid, and so, you know, like printing them out is basically the same thing as this view. Okay. Whew. Believe it or not, we are at the end. We are at the end of this chapter. This was not a very tough chapter, I'll admit. A lot of baby steps, and if you're kind of sort of happy with the way things are going, great. We are going to pick up the pace. I mean, the next chapter is going to be, you know, getting into doing things in Excel a little bit more detail. We're going to go from baby steps all the way up to stuff I've never heard of before. So yeah, stay tuned for later developments. Okay, I guess I'll see you guys again in some future video.